Hello, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and welcome back to the channel where today I'm just going to share my thoughts on the poor state of the current fantasy adaptations. In particular, with particular attention to the Wheel of Time, because followers of the channel, people that you know me a little bit, you know I can't stand, I really disliked the Wheel of Time book series. However, when the TV show was announced, I was hopeful. I made a video. I was hopeful. I said the TV show will fix the issues in the books, and it will be better. But it wasn't. So, here's the thing. If you want to do a fantasy adaptation, the blueprint was done for you with Peter Jackson with the Lord of the Rings trilogy, and up until they run out of source material, A Song of Ice and Fire. So how did you do an adaptation? You do an adaptation out of love and devotion and respect and enjoyment of the original source material. So Peter Jackson, Frank Walsh, Philippa Boyens, they loved the Lord of the Rings, and they just wanted to adapt the Lord of the Rings. And obviously some things are going to change between the page and the screen, and you have to make some concessions and some adaptations. But the respect and the devotion for the source material was clearly there. With A Song of Ice and Fire, you got the same story. The problem is, as we know, Martin is never going to finish the series, and those writers at HBO weren't of the same quality as Martin, and the series went to pot for multiple reasons towards the very end. But those first original 6 seasons, even 7 dare I say, were really, really good, and they were pretty good adaptations and true to the spirit of the series. So now we've got the Wheel of Time. And the thought that I had is like, who cares about the Wheel of Time TV show? Like, none of the main pop culture channels on YouTube are talking about the Wheel of Time. Everyone is talking about Rings of Power, House of the Dragon. No one cares about the Wheel of Time. And I was wondering, why might that be the case? And obviously, there's the fan channels of the Wheel of Time, of course, they will be talking about it. What I'm saying is that the Wheel of Time TV show hasn't transcended the way Lord of the Rings, the way House of the Dragon transcended the geekdom, the fandom into mainstream appeal. It hasn't. And for multiple reasons. I think that perhaps the adaptation, I watched the first season and I checked out. I watched the first season and I wasn't enamored by it. And then even Brandon Sanderson himself has been very lukewarm on his assessment of the series. And I will leave links to all the articles that I'm quoting and showing here on the screen. So first of all, Brandon Sanderson has already come out saying that this is not an adaptation of the Wheel of Time. He sees the TV show as the next iteration of the Wheel of Time. So he's already telling you that this isn't quite the books. And the key to mainstream success is to gain the support of the die-hard fans, because they are the ones that will, talk about it, they will disseminate that, and if you get the fans on board, they will get, oh, I love the books, yeah, you gotta watch this, But if the fans of the books aren't really sold on your adaptation, how are you gonna make that jump to mainstream appeal? So already Sanderson said that, and he's also been somewhat critical. I think he cannot really say what he truly thinks, but he's been somewhat critical of some changes to different characters' arcs and situations. So already you've got that going on. Furthermore, seems like no one cares about it, not even the actors. So the showrunner, Rafe Judkins, has been public about the lack of support for the promotion of the show. That when it came to the second season, when it came to promoting the second season, even the actors didn't show up. You couldn't do like a big publicity show with the actors to promote the second season. So even Amazon doesn't care about it. Why have they got it there? And finally, further proof that no one is actually watching this, and when I say no one, I mean no one, is the Nielsen, is the ratings, the viewership. Now, luckily, there are far more intelligent and capable people than me out there in the world, and I'll leave a link to the Reddit thread below. But someone has analyzed the numbers. And there's been a massive drop in numbers between season 1 and season 2. Almost like 50% of viewership. You've lost half your audience. That's a disaster no matter how you look at it. But because with the streaming platforms, the reported viewership numbers are somewhat different, you have to unpick it and do further analysis. And turns out that apparently the metric, and like I said, it's explained better in the Reddit thread, but because you got minutes watched, so the minutes watched, once you divide by the chapter length or something, because I think it was that the second season episodes are a little bit longer. So when you take all those minutes and divide, actually the drop was not 50%, it was actually 70%. A 70% drop in audience. Basically, if this was a Netflix show, it would have been cancelled. Because again, in the Reddit thread, they compare the viewership numbers of The Wheel of Time Season 2 with other TV shows, and similar shows on Netflix with those kind of viewership numbers would have been cancelled. Now, Amazon is not Netflix, it can afford to have a loss leader in business terms, and probably that's what they're doing. But I cannot see for the life of me, with this drop in numbers, this lack of support, this lack of mainstream appeal, how are you going to keep this show going for 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 seasons, given that it is a 14 books? I don't get it. I don't understand who this series is made for, who's watching it, and what the appeal is. And there are plenty of fantasy adaptations that I want to see done. There really is. Robin Hobb and Realm of the Otherlings, the standalones from Abercrombie. I want to see those things, but I want them done properly. I want to see the Peter Jackson treatment. I want to see the HBO treatment. I do not want to see the Amazon treatment. Because that Wheel of Time TV show, there was just too many changes. I think there was some degree of self-insertion and company political views imbued there. I mean, and that ridiculous image of Nynaeve washing rocks in a cave, it's just ridiculous. So anyway, I don't know, maybe you've got a different point of view, maybe you share it with me. Please comment below, let me know your thoughts and opinions. Take loads and loads of care, and I'll see you soon. Bye.